Discipline gives you control over your life. When you master discipline, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. You no longer wait for circumstances to change you change them. You don't wait for opportunity, you prepare for it. You don't hope to succeed, you plan to succeed. Discipline makes you a leader of your own destiny. It also brings peace. There's something deeply calming about knowing you're doing what you're supposed to do. Even if the results haven't shown up yet, you can rest in the process. You can trust that your consistent effort is not in vain. That every brick you lay is building something bigger. That every act of discipline is an investment in your future self. The reality is, everyone faces resistance. Everyone battles laziness, fear, and distraction. The difference isn't in the obstacles, it's in the response. The disciplined person doesn't wait for the storm to pass, they learn to work through the rain. They show up in spite of the doubt. They fight through the fatigue. They don't seek perfection, they seek persistence. When you choose discipline, you're saying yes to growth, yes to purpose, yes to excellence. You're choosing the narrow road over the easy path. You're deciding that your destiny is worth the discomfort, that your calling is worth the cost, that your future is worth more than your feelings. You begin to see setbacks not as excuses to quit, but as opportunities to grow stronger. You understand that pain is not the enemy, complacency is, and so, you lean into the struggle. You embrace the grind. You push forward not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Motivation starts the journey, but discipline finishes it. At the beginning of every dream, every goal, every pursuit of greatness, there is a spark. That spark is motivation. It's the fire that gets you excited. It's the vision of what could be. It's the adrenaline that pushes you to take the first step. When motivation hits, it feels unstoppable. You see the possibilities, you feel the momentum, and you're convinced that nothing can stand in your way. Motivation gives you the courage to start, to say yes, to step out of your comfort zone and into something new. But that spark doesn't last. The excitement fades. The obstacles come. The real world shows up with its distractions, its disappointments, and its delays. And this is where most people quit, not because the goal wasn't good, not because they didn't care, but because they were relying on motivation to carry them the whole way. Motivation is emotional. It's reactive. It's based on how you feel in a given moment. And the truth is, feelings change. The journey to success is long, hard, and often lonely. If motivation is all you have, you won't make it far. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline doesn't need a good day. It doesn't need a good mood. It shows up anyway. Discipline isn't driven by inspiration, it's driven by decision. It's the inner strength to do what needs to be done whether you want to or not. It's setting the alarm and waking up early even when you're tired. It's choosing to work when you'd rather relax. It's sticking to the plan when distractions are calling your name. Discipline is the structure that holds your dream together when motivation falls apart. Every successful person you admire, every champion you respect, every leader who's built something meaningful, they didn't get there by staying motivated every day. They got there because they were disciplined. They understood that motivation is the entry ticket, but discipline is the price of admission. Discipline is what keeps you consistent. It's what makes you dependable. It's what allows you to keep showing up when it's boring, when it's hard, and when it feels like nothing is working. In the beginning, it's easy to be motivated. You see progress. You get feedback. People support you. But over time, things slow down. The applause stops. The results take longer. You start to doubt. And that's when discipline becomes your lifeline. Discipline is the voice that says, keep going. It reminds you of your why. It grounds you in your commitment. It pushes you to press on when motivation would have let you give up. People often confuse talent with consistency. They think someone is gifted or lucky because they see the results but not the process. What they don't see are the countless hours behind the scenes, the days when it felt like nothing was happening, the moments of doubt and frustration. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful isn't motivation, it's discipline. The ability to keep showing up, day after day, no matter what. Discipline is what allows you to build momentum. When you do something repeatedly, it becomes a habit, and habits are stronger than feelings. Once a habit is formed, it no longer takes willpower to do it. It becomes automatic. That's the power of discipline. It transforms actions into patterns, and patterns into lifestyle. It builds a rhythm that carries you through the ups and downs. With discipline, you don't need to restart every time you lose motivation, because you never stopped in the first place. There's a reason why so many people start strong and finish weak. It's not that they didn't want it badly nor UFO, it's that they didn't prepare for the moments when motivation would disappear. They didn't build the muscle of discipline. Discipline is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your excuses. It demands sacrifice. It asks you to trade short-term pleasure for long-term gain. But it also produces results. It creates mastery. It builds character. Motivation can get you to the gym, but discipline will get you in shape. Motivation can get you to open the book, but discipline will help you understand it. Motivation can push you to start a business, but discipline will keep it alive. There is no substitute for discipline. You can listen to all the motivational speeches you want, read every success book ever written, and attend every inspiring seminar, but if you don't act consistently, nothing changes. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality, and discipline is what drives action when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's the difference between goals that live in your head and goals that show up in your life. Discipline is also honest. It doesn't make promises it can't keep. It won't tell you it's going to be easy or quick, but it will guarantee progress if you stick with it. It teaches you resilience. It builds toughness. It gives you control over your life. With discipline, you're no longer a slave to your emotions. You make decisions based on purpose, not pleasure. You move forward regardless of how you feel. This doesn't mean you should never feel motivated or inspired. Those moments are powerful. They can lift you, fuel you, and point you in the right direction. But they're not enough to finish the race. The race is won by those who keep moving forward, one step at a time, even when the road gets rough. Discipline is the engine that keeps your dream alive long after the excitement is gone. Sometimes, people wait for the perfect moment to act. They wait until they feel ready. But readiness is a myth. The truth is, most of the time, you won't feel like it. You'll feel tired, busy, distracted, overwhelmed. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can wait for motivation to return, or you can rely on discipline. One will keep you stuck, the other will move you forward. One is a feeling, the other is a decision. When you look at the people who finish what they start, who build something meaningful, who overcome incredible odds, you'll find that discipline was the constant in their story. They weren't always the most talented. They weren't always the most motivated. But they were consistent. They were committed. They kept going, especially when it got hard. They understood that greatness isn't built in moments of inspiration, it's built in moments of discipline. There will be days when motivation whispers, and days when it goes completely silent. But discipline never leaves. It stands beside you like a quiet force, steady and reliable. It shows up in your routine, in your choices, in your mindset. It reminds you that every small action matters. That success isn't about doing big things once a year, it's about doing small things repeatedly. Discipline gives you power. It frees you from the roller coaster of emotions. It makes you trustworthy to yourself. You know you'll show up, even when it's tough. You know you'll push through, even when it's inconvenient. That kind of self-trust is rare, and it's valuable. It's what makes dreams come true, not the excitement of starting, but the courage to continue. That's the difference. That's what finishes the journey. God rewards consistency, not just passion. Passion is powerful. It's the fire in your soul, the energy in your voice, the spark that lights up your eyes when you talk about your dreams. Passion is the starting gun in the race of purpose. It's the surge that makes you leap out of bed with fresh vision, the drive that makes your heart burn for change, for impact, for significance. But passion, as powerful as it is not enough on its own. Passion can be loud but short-lived. It can stir emotion but lack direction. Passion is the initial yes to the call, but consistency is what says yes again and again, a day after day, season after season. When God looks at a life, He doesn't just examine the fire in your heart. He looks for the faithfulness of your hands. Passion is emotional, but consistency is spiritual. Passion might shout, but consistency obeys in silence. God doesn't just move through moments of intensity, He moves through rhythms of obedience. The Bible says, "Well done, good and faithful servant," not good and passionate servant. God honors the one who keeps showing up, who keeps praying, who keeps working, who keeps believing even when the passion fades and the feelings waver. We live in a generation that's obsessed with passion. We applaud excitement. We chase emotional highs. But God's system is different. His kingdom is built on faithfulness. He sees the one who stays planted, the one who waters the seed even when no fruit has appeared, the one who keeps building the ark when there's no sign of rain, the one who keeps walking around Jericho when the walls haven't budged after 6 days. Passion might help you start, but it's consistency that causes the walls to fall. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not always visible. It's waking up and doing the work when nobody is clapping. It's staying in the word when it feels dry. It's showing up to serve when no one thanks you. It's choosing character over compromise again and again. It's saying no to sin even when it's easy to justify. That's what God rewards. He sees what no one else sees. He keeps record of the prayers, the tears, the sacrifices, the small choices that add up to a legacy. He's not impressed by a burst of fire if it fizzles out quickly. He's moved by the steady burn of a life committed to obedience. Look at the people God used mightily in Scripture. It wasn't their passion alone that set them apart, it was their persistence. Joseph had dreams in his youth, but it was his faithfulness in the pit and the prison that prepared him for the palace. Daniel wasn't just passionate about God, he was consistent in prayer, 3 times a day, even when it could cost him his life. David was anointed as king, but he still served in the field, still honored Saul, still wrote psalms in caves. Paul didn't just preach with fire, he endured with grit, beatings, prison, rejection, storms. Yet he finished the race, not because of one passionate sermon, but because of a life poured out consistently. God is a God of process. He often works in the slow, in the quiet, in the daily decisions. He's more interested in who you're becoming than how loud your voice is today. Passion says, I'll go wherever you send me. Consistency says, I'll stay right here until you move me. Passion says, I love you, Lord. Consistency shows that love by obeying His commands when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's not popular. Jesus himself didn't just speak with passion, he lived with discipline. Rising early to pray, staying in step with the Father, serving, sacrificing, submitting. Even when the cross was in front of him, he didn't run, he endured. There is something deeply spiritual about consistency. It's an act of faith. When you keep going without seeing results, you're declaring, God, I trust you. When you keep working the ground, planting seeds, and showing up, you're saying, Lord, I believe you see me. And He does. He sees your consistency. He honors your commitment. He rewards those who diligently seek Him, not casually, not occasionally, but diligently. That kind of faith pleases Him. That kind of walk positions you for blessing, for breakthrough, for purpose fulfilled. Passion feels good. It looks good. But it's not always dependable. One day, it's there. The next day, it's gone. If your relationship with God is based only on passion, your walk will be inconsistent. Your spiritual life will be a roller coaster. But if it's built on consistency, you'll grow deeper. You'll be rooted. You'll weather storms and still bear fruit. God uses people who stay, people who persist, people who keep going when it's hard, when it's slow, when it doesn't make sense. That's faithfulness. That's maturity. That's what He's looking for. It's easy to start strong, but can you stay strong? Can you remain when others walk away? Can you keep trusting when the promise seems delayed? Can you keep sowing when you haven't seen the harvest? That's the test. And when God finds someone consistent, He can trust them with more responsibility, more influence, more power. Because He knows they won't just flash for a moment, they'll burn steadily for a lifetime. They won't just shout in public, they'll obey in private. Consistency builds character. It sharpens you. It humbles you. It teaches patience, endurance, and trust. It removes the need for applause and teaches you to do it for God alone. When you show up daily, when you're faithful in little, He prepares you for much. Passion might make people notice you, but consistency makes God promote you. He is the rewarder of those who walk in faithfulness, not just flashiness. Even in ministry, in calling, in purpose, passion alone isn't enough. You can have a powerful moment on a platform, but if your life off stage isn't consistent, it won't last. God isn't just looking for gifted people, He's looking for consistent ones. People who say yes in every season, who keep showing up in secret, who don't need to be seen to be faithful. That's the kind of vessel He can fill and use again and again. It's in the ordinary that God often does the extraordinary. In the daily discipline, in the quiet obedience, in the moments where you do the right thing because it honors Him, not because it feels good. When you live a life of consistency, you become dependable in the kingdom. Your roots grow deep, your character strengthens. You become a living testimony, not of fleeting passion, but of lasting faithfulness. God's timing is often different than ours, and if you're only passionate, you'll get frustrated in the waiting. But if you're consistent, you'll keep walking. You'll keep trusting. You'll understand that delay isn't denial, it's development. That faithfulness in the hidden seasons prepares you for fruit in the revealed ones. That what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. God has a way of blessing the consistent, elevating the steady, promoting the faithful, because He knows they can carry the weight of blessing. They've been tested in the process, refined in the fire, proven in the quiet places. That's where real strength is formed. Not just in passionate declarations, but in consistent decisions. Not just in moments of praise, but in lives of obedience. Passion may stir the surface, but consistency moves the heart of God.